welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm Linda McNamee, the virtual version, and we are trying something new this week. I've missed you all, and because of social distancing, we are not allowed to go into the studio right now, but hopefully we will be back soon, and you'll have some new wonderful guests whom you will meet when we get over this little hurdle that we have. So we have a nice little special going on today. We're going to talk with the crew and figure out how we are all doing with social distancing and all the different rules and life kind of being flipped upside down and in all different directions. So bear with me, and hopefully you will be able to find something to connect with those who will be speaking today. All right, thanks. First off, we have Chris Flaherty, who is a production coordinator. Yeah, that's it. I think I've been out in the sun too long. But Chris is helping me out recording, and he's going to work some magic afterwards. And hopefully we really won't miss the studio too much. So thank you, Chris. Thanks for coming up with this idea, and thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for thinking my idea was good.
Well,
thanks for having me.
Like I said, in the introduction, it's kind of hard for all of us. It's, uncharted territory unless you were around in the Spanish flu of 1918. And I don't think there have been a lot of people who remember that.
I was not around.
So I don't know about you, but I'm getting better now, but I've been having a lot of ups and downs during this time of social distancing. It's been 6-7 weeks. How are you coping with everything?
I take it one day at a time. I have my good days, I have my bad days. It's just, keeping your mind going, focused on, whatever you can do. Just like the downtime is when it gets you, really.
Exactly. And I was also thinking about some of the ups and downs that I've been experiencing. And since you're able to work, you might not be able to relate, but I found that when they first canceled school and my kids had to do distance learning, it was really hard because there was an unknown. Will we be back later April? Will we be back in May? And it was really hard for me to get used to that uncertainty. And now that they've said, okay, school is definitely canceled through the end of the school year, it's almost like a closure for me, where now it's like, okay, I can move past that. Have you had any similar connections?
No, definitely. I mean, I was a lot more optimistic. Well, this sounds grim, but I sounded a lot more optimistic in the beginning. Like, I was just like, oh, it's going to be 2 weeks and we'll be back to normal. And then, it just kept, it's going till the end of May, and now it's going to the middle of May. So at first I was like, man, this is crazy. But now it's just like, at this point, I'm like, just keep going, do what you got to do.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Okay. A little, Dory humor.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had to develop like new coping skills during this time, or did you already have like different mechanisms in your repertoire that you've been able to fall back on?
I mean, me, I have quite a few things in my bag of tricks that I've sort of, adapted for the times. Quite possibly the biggest thing that I've done is I did a quarantine lip dub.
I saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad I didn't get any noise complaints. And also I'm glad I didn't fall off the couch or the chair. Although everyone likes to believe there are outtakes of that, but there isn't.
I was impressed how, the camera angle was always perfect for that. Mm-hmm. Do you have a tripod, or were you just like balancing your phone?
I have a BCAT camera kit here with me. I've had it home with me since forever, just so, I don't have to go into the office if I need to do a news story or anything. I just go, from A to B. But yeah, it was, I had a real tough director on that one. He was a bit of a perfectionist,
Oh,
but
those people you can never please.
mm-hmm. I was struggling because I'm like, okay, how many camera angles can you do in this one bedroom apartment? And
He was
at
very
first I'm
creative.
just like, do I want to show people my bedroom? And obviously I'm okay with it. But it was just getting over that hurdle for a second. I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? And then I was like, you know what? You can have fun with it. Like, you can see, like, when I go into the bedroom, you can see, like, my gold jacket hanging on the door. You can see the Captain America, sort of like Pixar Easter eggs of a Chris Flaherty world.
Exactly. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to do another lip dubs coming up?
I've been toying with it for a while. I've been kind of hesitating just because not to like sound like so like not to hype up my lip dubs because they're just the lip dubs, but the next one is going to be the 20th one, and I did like a fun little like extravagant one for number 10 where I had like I did You're Welcome from Moana and stuff. So I'm like, I don't know, like to do the 20th one like in my apartment, by myself, but like I have a good idea that I think people will really go for, so that will be coming soon, and I hope people like it. That's sort of like my mantra right now with like any sort of like content or creativity. Like if it can make like a few people smile and if it's something positive, I should just do it.
Yeah. How do you think work will change? I mean, do you think, BCAT has done an amazing job keeping the community informed in an objective way. But do you think that anything that we've learned technology-wise, like I don't think 90% of the population had heard of Zoom until all of a sudden we were forced to use it.
Right.
Do you see your work going back to the way it was, continuing this way, or kind of morphing into a combination?
I think like everything else, it's going to be a gradual transition back to what people want. Like, I think it's going to go down to individual preferences, like what you feel more comfortable with going forward. I know some people are ready to like get out there and meet people again. Others are definitely going to be more weary for interaction and stuff. I'm sort of like in the middle right now. I mean, I do love going out to do interviews with, my camera and stuff, but I totally understand if people just want to stay with Zoom. I mean, it's working, so.
Yeah. And I think a lot of industries where before they were telling their employees you cannot work from home for fear that they couldn't. But apparently now we've learned that we can do it. So I think that's going to have some kind of change.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, everything's going to change. Like, I think the biggest thing that I've seen from what I've read and stuff is that movie theaters are going to be completely different when this all changes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you probably can't pack a movie theater anymore. You're probably going to have to limit the number of seats. And even after that, people are not going to rush to go see a movie in a theater where everybody sits.
Right.
So.
And also there's so many alternatives now. I mean, why should I pay to go to a movie theater when I have, this 60-inch flat screen TV in my living room and I can stream anything? So
yeah, I mean, I could go on about that, but me and Phil will be talking about that in the new Entertainment Buzz special airing next week.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think we talked a little bit about it, but is there one particular thing that you're really looking forward to doing when they finally say social distancing is lifted?
Like, I just want to see people again. It's crazy, but like, I haven't hugged my parents in like 3 months. Yeah. It's weird because I'm an only child, so I'm very close to my parents. So, and I go over the house still sometimes, and like I'll stand on like the grass, and they'll be up on the deck.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. Or like they have this new like indoor patio in the addition, so like I'm outside and we're talking through the window. But yeah, just to see everybody. I don't know, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna throw a huge house party here because I can only fit like 20 people, but that also probably wouldn't be super safe.
Probably not. But I've seen a little Facebook meme saying as soon as all of this is over, I'm going to give everyone a long, awkward hug. So just get used to it.
That's totally me. That was my number one, and my number two was get a haircut, but I ventured into the unknown on Saturday.
Looks good.
Thank you. I was worried because I'm like, I have to be on Zoom with Linda on Monday, and if this goes horribly wrong, yeah, I'll just wear a hat. But it turned out all right.
Well, Evan, who's my 9-year-old, as you know, is desperate for a haircut, but he's trying to weigh the odds. Mm-hmm. Should I let Mom cut it, or should I just look all shaggy?
Mm-hmm. No, it was driving me crazy, but then I realized, like, even when like hair salons and barbers are going to be opened up, like there's going to be lines like a mile long to get in. So like however long you've waited for a haircut, just add like a month and a half to that. So I'm like, I can't accept that. I can't.
That's like every appointment, dentist,
mm-hmm.
So anyway, what is the one thing that we're not going to be returning to normal?
Right.
Or what normal had been.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as the one thing you hope will be in the new normal?
Hand washing.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I just hope there's a new elevation or a sense of kindness out there. I mean, it seems like everybody's like weary of one another or fearful of one another because like, does he have it? Does she have it? So I think like, I've read this online, like we may not all be in the same boat, but we are in the same storm.
Yeah.
So I think like we just need to remember that. And going forward, when this is all done, I hope we take care of each other and look after each other a little bit more.
I think that's starting. So hopefully that will work. So
yeah.
Anyway, well, we're just about out of time for our little segment. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and joining me from, Shea Cress.
Yes.
I'm hiding out in the basement. So, we'll see what happens. And hopefully the next time we record something to talk about, we will be back in the studio.
Yes, I certainly hope so. And, I hope you and the family are staying safe, and
Thank
may
you.
the 4th be with you.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
No problem. Thank you, Linda.
Hi, Jolie.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I was doing my little introduction before I talked with Chris, and I said, I'm really hoping, and I miss everybody in the studio. I miss BCAT. So I'm really, really hoping that after this little experiment, we can actually get back together in the studio.
That would be nice. But I need to get out of the house.
We have been airing some repeats, some, much loved episodes, but it would be nice to have, something a little new. Not that this isn't new, but anyway, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, I think, all things considering.
What's school like for you? I mean, because, I'm seeing it from the elementary school perspective, and I know middle school's doing it a little different. How's high school managing the distance learning?
Yeah, I know it's definitely different in all of the schools because I've talked to my cousin who's in middle school and hers is different. For me, we have classes Tuesday through Friday, and we have two classes a day, except for Friday. We only have one because we have 7 classes. And we have them each for like an hour and a half. So I think the first one's from 8:30 to 10, and the second one's from 10:15 to 11:45. And it's not really like classes. Like some of them you're not required to like go in, but the teachers usually have a Google Meet like set up, so you can like check in with the teacher if you need, or I know my chemistry teacher has started doing, we have to check in to do a question because our AP exam is coming up.
Oh, okay.
And my Spanish teacher, we have to check in because we do like a little activity where we talk in Spanish because that's one thing.
Okay. But like with AP, are you still going to be able to have the test? Is it online or is it something like the SATs where you have to like go into school?
No, it's online. It's really weird.
Great.
They started sending out like practice things for it because the whole problem is they shorten them. So it used to be like the exams were like hours long and you had to do like multiple choice and free response and all this stuff. And or like in history, because I have AP chemistry and AP world history. And then like history, you had to write like 2 giant essays and then a bunch of short answers and multiple choice. And they shortened it down so you only have to do 1 essay question and that's it.
No pressure.
5 minutes. And then for chemistry, it's 2 free response questions and like all the exams are shortened to 45 minutes. Not really sure why, but I think it's more of a topic thing because one thing that both classes did is they took out some of the content that we had to know because some schools didn't get to teaching it yet. So for chemistry, there would have been units 1 through 9, but there's only units 1 through 7. And they cut out like an entire 100 years of history.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Well, which 100 years?
Present day, so we cut out a lot of stuff, but it should hopefully be okay. But yeah, so the exams are going to be online, and we just have to. I think it's like a time thing where you have to log in like half hour before the exam, take the exam. They give you like 5 minutes to upload your work. So like if you did it on paper, you could like take a picture and send it to yourself and then upload it, which is what I was planning on doing, or you can like type on a document. Yeah, so they're still being held.
Hopefully you don't have to do too many chemistry experiments at home because that might be a little dangerous.
No, yeah, actually they've been pretty considerate and stuff. So I know for the chemistry exam, I think you only need like a 4-function calculator to like really do the question. So like they took out a lot of the things you might need a scientific calculator for. You don't have to make any graphs or anything. I think they're all written responses, so you could do it on like a Google document if you needed to instead of writing on paper. So I think they've been pretty good at being considerate and sort of changing the exam so that everyone should be able to take it to the best of their ability. So.
Got it. So it seems like you've been doing okay considering, but have you found yourself having to develop like coping mechanisms or skills or something to keep your sanity, if school's only 3 hours a day?
Yeah. The teachers, well, not they give like a lot of schoolwork, but they do give schoolwork. So I am still working on that like in the afternoons, but I've been reading books a lot. I've been going for walks with my dog when it's nice out and my sister. I have a thing here. I have been doing the paint gem art things where it's like a color by number, but with little gems. So this is one that I did recently. I've done a few of them. They're pretty time consuming, and I tend to do them while I watch TV. So I'll watch The Voice because I don't really have to be watching it. I can be like listening to them singing and that kind of thing. And I do this for like hours and hours on end. Like this one probably took like a total like 20 hours to do. Probably like they take a while depending on like how into it you are.
But who's counting? Exactly.
It's keeping me busy.
So have you found what's the hardest thing that you've had to do or that you've found because of social distancing and self-quarantining or self-isolation, or I don't even know what they call it?
Yeah, I don't really know anymore. It's like keeping myself motivated for like schoolwork and stuff, because I feel like at school, like some people are different where they're like, oh, I'm more motivated at home, and for me it's like the complete opposite where like I'm at home, I don't want to be doing my schoolwork. Like normally I'm fine with it, but like I've discovered that's probably the biggest challenge I've been having. Like I had a history extra credit assignment that I was like, oh, I don't need to do this, I'm fine. And it like took me forever to do, and I turned it in like an hour before the due date, which I don't think I've like ever done before. Like I'm usually pretty punctual about doing stuff and like doing it early and that kind of thing, but it took me forever to do like all of my assignments. It's just hard to stay motivated because you're at home. I don't want to be doing
So many other things to do.
Exactly. My phone is right there. I had to put my phone in like downstairs while
What
I
do you
do
do
my
at school with your phone now?
huh?
What
Oh,
do
it's
you,
only in my backpack.
I
But
mean,
like, I feel like the teachers are more discouraging. They're like, yeah, you shouldn't be on your phone. You should be paying attention in class. But like, we're also not learning anything new in the classes.
oh,
It's more of a
okay.
review. Um, it's more of a review. So like, it's sort of things you already know, or like just like sort of additions to what you know, like maybe learning it better. So like that kind of isn't helping either because there's nothing I really have to like super duper focus on to learn. It's more just hey, good look at it, good not. That kind
Now,
of
we chatted a little bit before about like the band trip
thing.
and Disney.
Yes.
Have you heard any news? Do you think that they're going to do it next year? Or is it still unknown? And what's the deal
I
with
feel
that?
like I feel like at this point everything's kind of unknown. I mean, at this point, I think our biggest concern is the band, and in the band is whether or not we're still going to have a marching season next year. So I think
Oh,
they're more making plans for that right now instead of deciding whether or not the Disney trip. But they'd probably announce it soon. It's definitely not happening this year because that just wouldn't work.
yeah. Well, Disney's closed. You can't go if it's
Yeah.
closed.
But
Now, what about band camp? Or do you know if they're still having band camp in August,
I
or
mean,
is
at
that
this point,
still?
they haven't canceled it yet. I'm still under the assumption it's going to happen, but that may change if we're still in quarantine in August or anything.
Because it's
But
kind of hard to wear a face mask and play the clarinet.
yeah, it's not very good. It's not good
Yeah,
enough.
and sousaphone is just out of the question.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends because, like, you're also just close to people at band camp because there's only so much space on the football field for, like, 50 students who are marching. So, like, technically, I don't think we'd have to play our instruments if we were just doing a drill for, like, the marching band show, but it still probably wouldn't be very productive to what quarantine is trying to do. So
Exactly.
I haven't really heard anything about the Disney trip. I mean, it could happen next year. We're not really sure. I feel like it probably would because for the 3 years, like because I'm a junior and then sophomores and the freshmen, to sort of like not penalize them because of this, but like you only get to go once in your high school. So like if the Disney trip happens one every 4 years, so I feel like canceling it and not having any of the other 3 grades go would be a bit like probably a bit of a backlash. I
Oh
know I'd be
well.
really bad. I feel really bad for the seniors if they don't get to go. But
Yeah. They'll just have to come back as alum.
yeah,
It's always a possibility. What are you looking forward to the most when they do finally lift this whole social distancing thing and say, you can come out now?
I think really seeing my friends. Again, it's just kind of like I've been able to see some of them like either from a distance or like over FaceTime or that kind of thing, but like it's just not the same. Or just like going out of the house to go somewhere. I really want to go get ice cream from like Schoolhouse, Cold
Yeah.
Stone. I want to go with my friends because the day before school got canceled, that Thursday, because the school got canceled for Friday,
Right.
I was with my friends at Cold Stone getting ice cream because my winter guard practice had been canceled. So we were like, oh, let's just go get ice cream. So we went to go get ice cream, and then the phone call came during when we were there.
Oh,
So we had
no.
like a big celebration. Well, not really at that time. That time we were just like, oh,
Well, that
school.
time, yeah, you thought it was like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. And then that got extended a while, so then that kind of changed. But at that time, we were really happy, and I would just want to get ice cream. Or like, it sounds weird, but my 6 month of having my license happened in the middle of this. It actually happened on April 1st, so I can drive other people now, which is like weird. And I
Yeah.
think it's a weird thing, but I want to be able to drive other people, and I just want someone else to be able to drive
No,
with me.
I get it. I do. I really do. And then after you drive with a couple people, then you'll be ready to drive by yourself again so you can choose the radio station.
But for now, I was just like, that passed, and then now it's just going to keep going. And I'm like, I just want to drive other people. I want to drive my friends.
So eventually, we will have a new normal, in society. What do you hope that we have all learned that will be part of the new normal, if that makes sense?
Mm-hmm. One thing I think that we should all take out of this is obvious. like the essential workers and like who is really like not really needed, but like that we should still be thanking them even when we're not going through a pandemic. Because I feel like there's been this big wave of support for like grocery store workers and doctors and all that stuff, and like some workers who might not have been like really respected before, and I think we should continue even after this to continue to respect them and respect the jobs they do, and really continue to like be supportive of them, because I think they've done a lot, and they did a lot before this even started. And I think that people didn't really recognize this, and I'm really like, I think it's one good thing that has come out of this is that people recognize more like who has done really hardworking jobs that they might not have noticed before.
I like that. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, well, anyway, we are just about out of time for our little segment.
Okay.
But thank you so much for, taking time out of your little diamond projects to help me out, and can't wait to see the whole gallery when you're done.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of them. I've already done 2, and I'm working on a 3rd.
Okay. But thank you very much. And hopefully next time I see you, it won't be through a computer screen, it'll be in real life.
Hopefully. Okay, bye.
Thank you, Liz, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Something to talk about, going where no one has gone before, just like Starship Enterprise. And we're trying a little virtual thing here, and hopefully this will be a one-time only thing, because I really miss BCAT, and I really miss seeing you and Jolie and Chris and Dominic and everybody, in person.
Oh, me too. I miss it so much. I miss doing sports report.
So, yeah, well, there aren't any sports, so you can't even report virtually.
Exactly. I was so sad when they canceled sports. But I'm so sad that my tennis season is off. I just became captain this year, and now there's no season for me to be captain of.
Darn, because tennis, at least if you're doing singles, there's plenty of distance.
You would think. They even closed down the courts. Like, not even just like they canceled the sport. You can't even get into the courts now.
Really? Yeah. I know that they roped off the playgrounds. They put like caution tape all over the playground structures, but
they padlock for honest.
But little 5-year-olds don't know how to, maintain distance, but 15, 16, 17-year-olds do.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that kind of leads me to, how are you coping in this new normal of society that we found ourselves thrown into?
Generally, I'm doing all right. I'm keeping myself busy. I've got plenty of schoolwork to keep me going. I've got a litany of pets to keep me company at all points. And I grew up as an only child, so it's me and my parents generally work from home too. So not too much is too different. It's kind of like summer, except without the ability to go out and just do things.
Well, it's the not being able to go out part that is driving a lot of us crazy.
Yeah, I spend a good amount of time at home, so it's not too overwhelming, but it is still weird to like not be able to even go to Jolie's house or something.
Yeah. So what do you find yourself doing when you're not doing schoolwork?
Well, I am trying to stay in shape. I'm trying to do a lot of exercise. My mom and I have been doing a lot of walking, whether it's with my dog or without my dog. The other day, or just yesterday, we found a YouTube video with boxing and kickboxing. And so
fun!
First time, and that was super fun, and we are definitely doing that again. We've been trying to do a plank challenge. We've been trying to do a lot of core exercises as well. So a lot of that. We also, well, hopefully, we've ordered a few puzzles online, but those are not coming. Online shopping is difficult right now.
I've noticed that. You either get it right away or, anticipated delivery date is August of 2025.
Yeah, exactly. Fun story is my mom and I ordered a few things from Old Navy the other day. I ordered like 6 things for me, and she ordered 1 thing for her, and only the 1 thing for her came. My things don't even have a date.
Oh no.
Nobody knows when my things are coming, but hers came like the next day.
Wow. I noticed that I ordered a bunch of stuff from Kohl's, and it's like it's all from the same place, and it's all like girls' clothing because it's all for my daughter, and it still comes in 3 different shipments.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, I don't, I'm glad it's free shipping, but at the same
Exactly.
time, it's like, okay, you do not need to single-handedly keep the post office in business.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Another thing that me and my family have done to help us stay sane is we have movie night every single night, or TV night. So
okay.
we watch a few episodes of a show together, or we watch a movie together. And that's
So
from 8 o'clock on. I have designated family movie night.
cool. What movies have you watched?
We've watched a lot. We have done this every single night except for once since quarantine started.
What's
Because there was a power outage.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I can't take this anymore. We
Yeah.
have to stay indoors. I even tried ordering pizza because my dinner was in the oven that night.
No.
And I was cooking the lasagna, and it was supposed to take an hour, and 20 minutes into the hour, we lost power.
Oh, that sucks.
And it was like for 3 hours, we didn't have any power. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, why don't we order a pizza? I called 2 pizza places because I didn't want to go too far out of our little circle of, distance.
Yeah.
Both places, no answer.
Oh, man.
I'm like, oh, man. So, we all had Pop-Tarts for dinner that night. So,
Yeah, we ended up losing power for over a day.
wow.
Yeah, we got it back like the next night, and that was because like 3 separate NSTAR people had to come to our house and like fix our transmitter outside.
Oh, did you have like trees down like on your street or?
I don't think so. I think one of the windstorms like knocked something out on our grid. So our I don't know technical how power stuff works, but one of our wires was the one that was down, and that caused like our blocks to be down.
Oh, okay.
So it was specifically our house that took stuff down, and it was because one of our wires was down.
So it's all your fault. No,
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So, what's the hardest thing other than losing power? I forgot that was already, I forgot that happened already. But other than losing power, what is the hardest thing that you're finding with this whole social distancing thing?
The hardest thing for me is definitely to stay motivated to keep doing things. It's other than eating, like that's one of the only things I am motivated to do right now. My mom and I are forcing ourselves to get exercise every single day. My mom bought cupcakes and they're almost gone. We're in a bad cycle, and my mom had to like diet it. You're allowed to have 200 calories worth of a sweet treat, because if we didn't have that, that's all we would do.
Yeah. And when you're stress eating, you don't reach for the carrots, you reach for the potato chips.
Exactly. We're stressed out about everything that's going on. We can't go anywhere. We can't see anyone. Anytime my mom goes to the grocery store, she's just like, okay. My mom and I went to CVS earlier today just to pick up a couple things for Mother's Day.
Okay.
And both of us were like, and that was the longest I've left the house for at all.
Do you have a little mask?
I did, yes.
I finally learned how to make masks today, and I ended up I found this incredibly simple pattern.
Oh, cool.
I had found like a more complicated pattern where you could actually put like a little pipe cleaner in the nose thing and you can like reshape it. And
oh, nice.
I'm looking at the directions going, this is just way too scary. My sewing abilities are, I can make a pillow and that's it. So a friend of mine through scouting, she, her daughter who's in 7th or 8th grade, made these masks. I'm like, okay, so if, a 7th grader can do it, I think I can manage it. And it was so much fun. But of course, I've been hoarding fabric for years and years and years.
Perfect opportunity.
Except for I gave it away a year ago.
Oh, come on.
I'm like, I gotta stop. I've hoarded that, I've had it sitting in my house for 20 years. I haven't used it. Time to move it on.
You're in the bad luck. Have you seen the Twitter threads that are just like people making masks out of the most like ridiculous things?
Well, some of them are kind of cool.
Some of them make sense. So, have you seen the meme of the woman who's had like an antivirus CD on her face?
Oh no.
That's a good one. That's one of my favorites. There was one thread that my mom showed me on Twitter, and it was like, what materials can I use to make a mask? And everyone was just saying the most like random things. Someone had a bra.
Well, actually, I think those were like the original
That would
ones.
work, I think.
But I've seen new socks. You can just trim them off and you can make a little mask. T-shirt sleeves. You can just cut the sleeve off the t-shirt.
A while ago, before my mom actually bought like official masks, I had a couple bandanas that I bought from fundraisers at school, and we used those.
Now, did you do those with the little hair elastics and try to loop those around your ears?
Yep.
Did that work?
She used rubber bands, and she said they weren't very comfortable.
Yeah, I tried that, and I think my head was just too big because my ears were like pulled forward, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work.
I think that's more the rubber band's problem and not yours.
Yeah. So anyway, how's school going for you? I mean, has that been a huge adaptation for you, a big learning curve?
Well, a little bit, but also it's not too different. We do a lot of stuff online to begin with, but some of the teachers have now changed entirely what they're doing. So it's kind of weird. There's a few classes where it's like, all right, I'm going to give you something that I would have given you anyway. But there's other teachers that, like, my history teacher never gave homework, ever. Like, and even if you did get homework, you'd have like a 5-minute review something so that we could talk about it tomorrow in class. But now she's working with other teachers. So now she gives you this 5-page packet. And it's like, all right, you're going to do all of this. You're going to do this, this, and this. And then you're going to write me a paragraph about it at the end of it. And it's so weird because I've never done anything. I haven't done anything like that for history this year. So that's kind of one of the biggest things that's kind of weird about school. And now that I'm at home, I have less motivation to do my schoolwork. So it's kind of just every day, it's like, all right, you're going to sit down, you're going to do this, this, and this, hopefully, and just get it done before the due date.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to most when they finally like lift the social distancing?
I am most excited generally to get back to regular life, but the one thing that I am the most excited to do is just go back and like have motivation again, but also like I'm really excited for the tennis courts to open back up. I'm so devastated that I have no tennis. That when quarantine first started, my mom and I would make an effort to go out and just at least go hit some tennis balls a couple times a week, just to keep the game going, just so that I'd have some exercise, I'd have some fun while doing it, keep going. But now I can't even do that, so I'm kind of just stuck to running or walking, and I don't really find excitement in either of those things. So it's a lot harder to get motivated to do stuff. So I'm really excited for tennis to come back. They're officially, now that season's out, it's really sad because I was really excited for that. But I still have next year, thankfully. I'm really sorry for all the seniors that weren't able to, but I'm really thankful that I have another year to do it. Yeah,
that'll be cool. Mm-hmm. Now, when life returns to normal, whatever that normal might be, what do you hope that we as a society or we as a community take away from this whole social distancing quarantine thing?
One of the things that I really hope people pick up on is something that I've started to pick up on is the importance of having other people in your life. Because there's a while where I was like, just leave me alone, please. I would do anything to just stay at my house for a little bit, have no one bother me, and just let me isolate for a little bit. But now that I'm being forced into isolation with very little human contact, it's starting to wear on me. And I need to talk to someone, and I didn't know that I needed to do that before. So now it's kind of like, okay, I'm in a place where I'm not allowed to talk to people, but I need to talk to people. I have friends that are trying to FaceTime me like as often as I can, and now I'm so psyched to go see them again in person. It's like, okay, before all of this happened, I was like, all right, I'm done with everyone.
Yeah,
Now it's
back to
like,
the hand.
please bring them back.
Cool. Yeah, I think everybody is going to find a new appreciation for a lot of things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, hopefully next time I do see you, we'll be in person back at
I'm
BCAT.
excited to get back in the studio.
Me too. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hang in there. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. Staying positive. That's the number one. That's the name of the game at this point.
Thank you for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
It's I've talked to Liz and Jolie and Chris, and it's like, I really miss seeing you all in the studio. I miss BCAT. But, we have been airing repeat episodes, some of the fan favorites or my personal favorites. And, we just wanted to mix it up a little bit. So we're going to try this virtual thing.
Very good.
And hopefully it will be a one-of-a-kind thing and we can go back to being in the studio the next time.
Sounds good to me.
So how are you doing with all of the social distancing thing?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be, like on the positive side of these things, except I take a different approach. I mean, I understand, some of the things they're trying to do, but, it's not very, I'm not a fan of being away from people and hiding, in my house and stuff. So that's not my style. So for me, this is really kind of a difficult thing, not so much for work because where I work, I get to still go to work. So I'm not really stuck at home per se, but when there's nothing going on, then you're pretty much stuck at home anyway. Yeah. So
But you are still able to work and.
Yep. Yeah. Still able to go to work. My husband's working from home. I still go to work. And then, the weekends are the weirdest for me. I'm like busy as can be on the weekend, but like now it's really nothing. I'm not doing anything except for like, around the house kind of stuff. Cause there's nothing, nothing much going on that I'd want to do.
Yeah, you have no excuse for the happy homeowner projects not getting done.
No, I know. I vacuumed. I know it's it's not.
Oh, I haven't vacuumed.
I know.
But I've dusted.
I know, that's the one thing that keeps coming back. It's just like, the COVID thing. It's always here. It's
Although I have developed a new sense of wanting to re-landscape my yard and do a lot of yard cleanup. So, at least I have something to show for all of my work.
Uh-huh.
And
I have a friend at work. He does maintenance and stuff, and he says, I'll pass him some time, and I'll go, Buster, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I'm just cleaning tiles. Whenever nobody has anything to do, they just start finding all the things that aren't done yet. And he usually gets the ticket. But that's kind of like, what's going on in the house, in the yard. I'm like, oh gosh, I got to get to that pile of stuff that I haven't touched in a long time.
Although, speaking of that pile of stuff, it's like I want to clean out our family room because it's not a family room, it's a dumping ground. And a lot of the stuff, yes, I could throw stuff away, but a lot of it is very good stuff, like toys that my kids just don't play with anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd love to donate them, but nobody's taking donations right now. I can't.
Big problem.
I can't purge all the stuff still in the same room. So
yeah, you have to just reorganize your piles.
So that's why I go outside.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definite.
So what have you been doing? Obviously you've been vacuuming, but have you developed any new hobbies?
Well, a couple of years ago, I picked up, I'm like a closet crocheter. So my church has this project that we work with in Mongolia. We take care of an orphanage, actually 2 down there. And we have this ministry called Caring Crafters. And even though I don't consider myself like an avid crafter, or
Mhm.
anything. I did enjoy crocheting when I was younger, and there was an opportunity to kind of, the crafters were making blankets, little Afghans to send
Oh,
to the kids in the
fun.
orphanage. And so I
Okay.
said, yeah, I want to do that. I want to make a blanket. Well, they've already sent like 8 different loads of blankets, and mine's never made it in one of them yet. So I got the bag out. I started doing some more rolls. I think I might have one by Christmas.
Yes.
They usually send out something in November. So I mean, I should be able to have one Afghan finished, and one of the kids will get it. I'm trying to make it big enough because we get videos from the missionary that's out there, and they had one this year that they sent us with all the kids getting their blankets, and I'm like, I'm watching it, I'm starting to cry. I'm going like, oh, I want my blanket, down there, so I did get back into that, which was, it was, that was really cool. I was happy about that, you know.
Yeah, I was telling Liz that I finally made some masks for my family because I found a really easy pattern from a friend. And I'm kicking myself because I had all of this material and I was hoarding this material and never using it. And after like, I don't know, 10, 20 years or something, I finally said like, okay, time to donate this to somebody who's actually going to use it. And I think,
And now you need
I swear it was just a year ago. If
that's always the case, isn't it? As soon as you, yeah, as soon as you said, I'm never going to use this again.
never going to use it. So
No,
I
I know.
saved some, so I still have enough to make masks for, the household, but it's like,
Yeah,
I used to have fun patterns and bright colors and no, all
no,
gone.
no. I know how it is. I mean, that's when you start looking at the things that you need to, kind of like say, all right, because they say, that's part of organization. If you haven't touched it in a while, you should
Yeah.
get rid of it, and or let someone else have a shot at using it. And but that always does happen. You never hear those stories either, because everybody that tells you should purge everything, they don't tell the last story when they needed it again, like 3 months later, after they get rid of it. No, it's
Yeah.
really
So,
bad. I'm sure that's so many stories like that happening right now.
yeah, well, hey, it is what it is. But I did have some material, but I can't go on like some people I know making hundreds and thousands of masks. I don't have enough material anymore. Oh,
Mm,
that was
yeah.
my cat just walking across the screen. Sorry about that. Um, what is the hardest thing that you have found during this time? I know you said, you look forward to seeing people, but is there, something else that you miss, like, recording your church services every week or something that,
Well, we definitely the thing that's really hard, personally, the thing that, because my work didn't get interrupted, church was interrupted, but because we were able to quickly go online,
okay.
the services are still being recorded, and we set up some kind of online streaming. It's a simulated stream, so the services are still going out. We're still busy doing that. But meeting, seeing people and stuff at church, that I found that, like, one of my deep senses of loss is the church not having people in it. It's like I'm there every week, and and personally, my team was the last one to clean it and stuff,
Oh,
and we haven't. I mean, the church isn't being used, so it really hasn't been cleaned. I mean, it's clean, but we were the last ones, and it's been 6 weeks, and no one's really been in there. So, the loss of, like, the building being, active. There's always that, thing that they go, the church isn't the building, it's the people and stuff, and it really is true. And stuff like that is, I'm sure a lot of people have, that were able to switch to an online format. They still get to see each other. We meet on our small group stuff over Zoom,
okay.
and we have an online platform. That's kind of like where I think where my sense of loss really has happened is, the not seeing people. And then the people that you do get to see, even though, people wearing masks, you can see in their eyes that there's just, this isn't right. It doesn't feel right. And then there's always, I didn't think that I would get touched by kind of one of these stories where, you know, a family or, you know, somebody I knew, their mom passed away in a nursing home, and they only had, you know, could only see them, you know, through a window and stuff. So, I mean, you know, and there was a, you know, a lot of like sadness I felt for, you know, for my family member, my friends, you know, losing a family member and not being able to, you know, be in the same room. That was kind of like, you know, it makes you just kind of think about the mitigations and stuff, and whether it's actually, I mean, it's got a purpose, but like at the same time, what are we sacrificing? That's kind of, I don't, you know, I don't like feeling like that, but I'm one of those people that I really, you know, I'm not 100% on board with the mitigation strategy. And I get it. It's got some purpose and stuff, but you know, I think we're sacrificing more than we should be right now.
Well, hopefully there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, I'm hoping.
But what is the one thing, I think I already know this based on what you said you've missed the most, but what's the one thing you're looking forward to the most when all of this is over?
Well, I think I'm looking forward to our vacation. We're
you
going
going?
on vacation in August, and the plan is a road trip. So it's very, very important for everything to be open, especially for potty runs and things. We're going to Tennessee, so we're going to be stopping at a lot of places, and I'm the only, you know, I frequent bathrooms on the route, so you know, it's nice for things to be open and kind of like, you know, somewhat, you know, free to kind of go from state to state without worrying about what's going on in each state. So when, you know, that's what I'm looking forward to. And you know, I'm hoping that like by August, you know, a lot more things will be kind of normal, and, you know, we can visit Tennessee and, you know, go back through Virginia like we always do on our trips, you know. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to for sure, when things, if hopefully things are better way before August.
Well, yeah,
So that, you know, we can make our
absolutely.
plans and stuff. That's all.
You know, I think some states are already starting to lessen or lighten restrictions. So, you know, I
Yeah,
know we can't just flip a switch and all of a sudden, you know, go back
right.
to the way things used to, because I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
Based on everything that's been going on, you know, the social distancing, the workers, travel plans, travel restrictions, what's the one thing that when life does return to a level of normal, what do you hope you will see in that new normalcy?
Um, I I would like to see people's faces, because I think that I think that seeing a person smile, and I mean, and everybody says, oh, you can see a smile behind the screen, but or behind the mask, but I want to see a smile. I think we're, you know, we're social people. People are very social, and you get messages from people just by looking at them. So, you know, if you can get, if you're feeling kind of tenuous about a situation and somebody's very confident and they're happy, it kind of gives you that, you know, it does jump over to you. I really feel like that, you know, people help each other, you know, mentally and physically when we're able to see each other, you know. So I'm looking forward to that, you know, just being able to walk past somebody and see their face. And I
Mhm.
think I'll appreciate seeing people's faces a whole lot more now than I ever did. You know, I never thought that we would be covering our faces in public like this. And you know, I will definitely, you know, appreciate the fact that I can walk by and look a person in the eye. And I think I'll make eye contact a whole lot more than I do now, than I
Yeah.
did before this all happened. You know, many times, you know, you feel yourself kind of like staying away from a crowd of people, you know, just because it's just chaotic or crazy. But like, I would give anything to be in a massively crowded mall right now. You know, just, you know,
I
just
don't think
shoulder
my
to
credit cards are
shoulder
like that
pushing
though.
through, you know, make it Christmas like 2 months, 3 months ago, you know, when you were struggling to get near something to grab it off the shelf. You know, that's what I'm looking forward to the most, being around people, uninhibited being around people.
Right. Well, that I love that element of hope. You know, we'll be able to get back together again. We'll be able to talk. You know, I think people will have a new appreciation for each other, you know, when this is over.
I totally agree. I mean, if that if even if you can just like I think that I would even probably say that to some people, that I would be bold. I would be more bold, like coming forward, you know, just saying like, you know, if I see somebody with the you know their family or something, I'd be very bold and maybe just say, you know, you have a beautiful family, and you know, you just blessed my heart just showing me that you love each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think boldness and just being friendly to people more, I think is going to be a good thing going forward after all of this is done.
All right. Well, thank you, Colleen. And I think it's pretty much time for us to wrap up the whole show. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. And hopefully we will be able to lift the social distancing soon and actually get to walk around town and see each other. And like Colleen mentioned, see the entire face and not just the eyes. So anyway, thank you very much. And I will see you around town.